record on this. Yes. Akila, you can see my screen, right? What it can, what you can able to see my screen, my screen.
Deployment models.
That's cool. Okay, good. Okay. Now you can see, tech skill, right? Okay, fine. So
Yes.
let's go very cool sessions. Okay, so don't hurry very and don't think too much. Okay, so it's a very simple concepts. And once if you started practicing, then it could easy for you all. Okay. And so this sessions, this particular time, I want to use for not to share my knowledge on AWS platform, and so what exactly the AWS, and and what are the services, mandatory services we need to learn. That information we can get it from this particular sessions. Okay. If you have any kind of questions before I start today's session, okay, you can. I'm giving a time for you all, and so I'm giving you 3 minutes of time. So this 3 minutes of time, you can ask any kind of question. I can try to answer your questions.
Hi, good evening. This is Abdul.
Yeah, hi Abdul, how are you?
Today I joined actually. Yesterday I was not able to join that, so
Okay,
it is
okay.
okay that I joined today.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Yesterday I was not. I'm not explaining anything actually. Just I said so go on to creating AWS account. Okay. So it will take some time, right? Might be sometimes what happen. It will take 24 hours maybe for getting some kind of confirmation from AWS. Okay. So it will take around sometimes some situations. Most probably within 1 hour you can get the account, but sometimes it will take 24 hours. Okay, that's the reason. No, I requested everyone go and create your own AWS account. So if you're not created, don't worry. Today also we have a time, so you can try to go and create your own AWS account. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Is there any other questions, guys?
Yeah, hi, Sai. Do you share these recordings with us if you miss any class or something?
Yes, of course
Is
I
there
can
any?
share. Yes, I can share. I can share the recordings. Okay. For that one, so you have to fill the form actually. Have you got any form from your recruiters?
Not,
No.
not yet.
Not yet, right? Actually, I shared the document, okay, the form. The form is that, you have to fill your details and your mail, okay? So, or else if you're not getting any kind of recording, and you can contact to the recruiter, okay? Gunjan sir shared some kind of document for recording access. Can you please send me that kind of document so that the people, if they forgot, if they forgot to share that document to you, then you go and ask the document. So if and only if you are fill that particular document, then only you can able to get the recording access. Okay. If you not fill the
Can you
document, then yes.
share the link here?
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
we can fill
Yep.
while
Yep.
class is going on.
Sure.
Thank you.
Give me a minute. I'm doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can share that link, the document link. Okay. The form link, and the link, what we can do, you just simply fill that particular document. You just fill that document. Actually, nothing else. Nothing will be there. Just your details. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
So far, I have only one response, and his name is Sai Mukesh. Is there Sai Mukesh here? Okay. Okay, copy, send. And I would like to go for copy the link and copying. Let's close this one. So in a chat, right?
Yes, please.
Mm, can anyone put a message in the chat? Okay, yes. Okay. Okay. I think you guys are received a link from my end. Okay. And you just go and access that link. And so the link will have some kind of information. It's just your personal information. And so it's like your name and your employer name and your details. Okay. So that thing it is required. Okay. So try to go for fill this particular document, the document that you already received now Zoom chat, and just copy that link and give your mail ID, give your details so that you can able to access the recordings. Okay, cool. So one more time, I'm telling to guys, actually the session it could start around at 8 p.m. of CST. Okay. And if you join late, it could be very tough to see that your participations. Okay, so if you're in a waiting room, then it could be very tough for me. No, might I cannot able to found. I may forgot actually, so I may forgot to open that participations. Okay, so first 5 minutes, that's okay. But if you're late, 10 to 15 minutes, I can forget to add you like into the participations from waiting room to this participation room. Okay, so that before we start our session, please join the session. Actually, before we start, before the time, only before 2 or 3 minutes, we can open the link and you can wait for it. So every day you have a session with the same link. So the link can never change. Okay, the link it could be the same, and the time is also same. The only thing is that you just open the link and before 3 minutes, so that you can able to access the you
385 704 4785.
దాంట్లో ఏదో ప్రాబ్లం లేదు రీస్టార్ట్ చేయాలి.
Okay, so let me start our session actually. So this session I'm concentrating on AWS. Okay, even you are from various technologies, forgot about it. Okay, so we are able to go for understanding the AWS concepts in this particular session. Okay, so that the first thing is that first we need to go for understanding what exactly the deployment. Okay, what exactly the deployment models before cloud or before cloud computing. Okay, you might have we might have a deployment, right? If you build one particular application, or once if you build your app or mobile app or website, whatever it is. Okay, so you need to go for deploy, right? So that the end user can able to access or not. If any end user is accessing the services through internet, the only reason is that the application you are deployed into the production environment, so that everyone can able to access, right? Okay, so there we have different kind of deployment models. Okay, there we have different kind of deployment models. The first one, before cloud we have the on premises. Okay, the first one is on premises. Second one is the cloud. The second type of deployment model is cloud. Third one is it's hybrid. Okay, there we have a lot of difference between the on premises. There it could lot of difference between the cloud and hybrid actually. Okay, but once if you deploy your application even in on premises environment, even you're deploying even you're deployed your application on the cloud, even you're deployed your application on hybrid. Okay, the use is the end user can able to access the application, he don't know actually where you deployed. Okay, the deployment and these things could be managed by the company, okay, organizations, not by the end user. End user simply they can access the app. For example, let me consider I have a small, I just want to explain it one more time. I am here I'm an end user. Okay, this is me. Okay, I'm the end user. Okay, I want to use the Facebook app. Okay, I want to use the Facebook app. Okay, in my mobile phone. So simply you can open mobile phone and you can type the Facebook and you can log in and you can use the services what it could be there, right? For example, this same Facebook app, before cloud, maybe I deployed on premises. Okay, by the time how the Facebook is working, the Facebook is working fine. Okay, I'm able to access all the services, all the features. Even I deployed the Facebook on premises. Okay, after some days cloud computing is come to the picture. Okay, so what I did actually, instead of deploying my application on my own on premises, I would like to go for deploying my application on my cloud. Okay, even you deployed your Facebook application in the cloud, so end user can able to access without any latencies or without any issues. Clear? Even sometimes some of the applications it requires some kind of hybrid model actually, like on premises and the cloud formations. Clear, right? So even if we deployed your application in hybrid, or even you deployed your application on the cloud platform, on even you deployed your application on premises platform, okay, the usage it could be a same. There is no variation. Is it clear or not?
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Okay.
Could you repeat what did you say?
Sure, I can repeat it one more time. Okay, so no, just a minute. Okay, so one more time I would like to go for explain that this concept deployment model. Okay, see, I have my own company. Okay, or else I can say that it's one organization. Okay, so actually the organization work is that they would like to go for build some kind of web applications. Okay, the work they will do lot many web applications. Okay, this web applications could be used by the end user or not. This is the one end user. Okay, this end user has to be access this web application, and he has to he has to go for enjoy actually. Okay, clear, right? So the main requirement is that the end user need to access this web application. So how this end user can access the web application from organization? Okay, what exactly he will do? The organization, whatever they developed, that application could be deployed in on-premises platform. By the time the end user can able to access this web application, or else the organizations could be used the cloud environment. The organizations could be used the cloud environment. Even by the time also the end user can able to access the web application without any issues. Clear? And the next
Yes.
thing is that the end user, for example, the organization, they are not using the on-premises, they are not using the cloud platform. They are using the some other hybrid model. So if the organization used the hybrid model, even by that time also end user can able to access the web application without any issues. Is it clear? Now my question is, what is on-premises, what is cloud, and what is hybrid model? That you need to go for understood actually. So right, on premises, what exactly the on premises? What is on premises?
On premises might be the company website. Like if it is a Citibank, then Citibank may itself has the servers where the web pages are accessible.
That's correct. For example,
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, fine. Now I can explain one more time. I would like to go for explaining that on premises. What is on premises? Okay. See, when we are working with one particular company, there it could have the two kind of things he has to manage. One is the infrastructure. What it is? Infrastructure. Second one is the resources. Resources means employees or software engineers. Resources. Generally, we can call it as the resources. Okay. The organization should has to maintaining the infrastructure and resources. Resources here means it's the employees. Okay. Or developers. Simply, you can say that it's a developers. See what exactly comes the infrastructure. There we have the infrastructure means your servers, like there it could have some kind of room. Okay, there could be some kind of dedicated room. The room would have the servers. Okay, and there has to be installed that various servers in one specific room, and within the particular server there it could have a networking, and you have to maintaining the security, both security, cyber security and physical security. Okay, see, the organization, it has to maintain the various infrastructure. From that one, the very important infrastructure is it's your on premises, like networking, security, switches and everything. What else? Okay, so this, it could be very very high security. Without any authorization you cannot even enter into that specific room. Okay, that kind of room the organization has to be maintained, so that other infrastructure, something like your computers and developer computers, whatever it is. Okay, like chairs and whatever it is, it's nothing else, it's general infrastructure. Okay, like this, everything could be managed by the organization only. Okay, now the client, for example, the client given on particular project, and the project for implementation of that particular project. Okay, they can use the developers. The developers could be deployed the project on their own room, their own network security, network room actually. Okay, so that we are calling this kind of in setup, we are calling it say on premises setup. Is it clear my point? On premises means the organization, it has to maintain its own networking, its own security, everything it has to maintain himself only. Clear? So that the end user can able to access the applications. Otherwise, end user cannot able to access the applications. That exactly the on premises. Now, what is cloud? What is cloud?
Cloud
Cloud means,
either AWS or Azure cloud, where
yes. Let me
we
consider. Yes, let me consider. We have one particular organization. So now here also we have the organization, that means companies. So here he has to maintaining the two things. One is infrastructure and second one is the developers. But coming to this kind of organization, for example, I'm running one particular company. I'm developing the web applications only. Okay. Here also he is developing the web applications only. Okay. But he is responsible for maintaining his own infrastructure, as well as he has to maintain his own resources. Now, I have my own company and I'm developing the web applications, and I don't need to maintain this infrastructure. Okay, there we have some kind of cloud. It could be like some kind of internet or remote access is there. Okay, now this is provided by the some kind of service providers. We have some kind of service providers, and the service providers are providing the cloud and remotely. Okay, so I don't need to maintain this network actually. So simply I can pay for some amount and I can use it whatever I need it. Okay, I have to maintain only developers actually. I have to maintain only resources. The organization what I have it, so I have to maintain only developers. I can build the web applications. I can deploy that one in another cloud services, cloud service providers. I can deploy my own application in another third party service providers. Okay, so that I don't need to waste of time to manage this entire setup, and I don't need to waste of money to create this setup, and I don't need to maintain any kind of security. Simply you can start building your own applications and you can deploy onto the cloud, so that everyone could able to access your applications. Is it clear? But some situations, some of the companies, something like some of the companies like government website, something like this. Okay, see, end user has to be maintained. Like some of the companies, it has to have the both combination of the both cloud and on-premises, that we are calling it a hybrid. That means hybrid model deployment. It could have the both the feasibilities, both formations, like cloud and on-premises. That means some of the portion of the data it was deployed in the cloud. Some of the portion of data it was deployed in his own premises. Okay, maybe one Gout company. Okay, like for example, one Gout web application. Okay, some application. Okay, so this one it has to be accessed by the end user. Okay, but the data what we are storing, that it is not this web application, that front end whatever it is, the web application deployed into the cloud platform and a third party service provider. But some of the DB servers, web servers I deployed into the cloud, and DB server, data storage servers, I deployed into my own infrastructure, so that the data it could have high security. So even it have the high security. And when it comes to the on-premises, it could have the high security. But when it comes to the cloud, it could have the security. It's not. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have the security. It could have the high security only. But when compared to the on-premises and the cloud, is a little bit of less security actually. Here, and when it comes to the hybrid, some of the portion of the applications or data we are deploying into the cloud on-prem cloud, and some of the data you're deploying into your own on-premises. That means you have a setup, you have your own setup, as well as you purchase some of the services from the cloud. Okay, so that kind of thing we are calling it a hybrid model deployment. Is it clear? Any questions, guys, so far whatever I explained?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, can you explain cloud again?
Okay,
Thank you.
cloud means nothing else actually. So here the organization, it has to maintain some server room. Okay, the server room. Okay, there it could have some kind of server room. The server room means it could have the networking switches and so lot many other server related components you have to maintain in one specific room. It could be maintained by the own setup. Okay, for example, if you have your own company, okay, you have to maintain your own server. But when it comes to cloud computing, okay, if you have your own company, but you don't need to maintaining the server setup room, you don't need to maintain server room. Okay, so which is not there in your own infrastructure. So it could be there in a remotely, it could available on our internet. Okay, so you have to pay some amount and we can use whatever the services you wanted. Okay, so there we have various cloud service providers are there, which are like AWS and Azure and GCP. Okay, and IBM cloud. Like we have various cloud service providers are there in a market, and you can go and create your own account, and we can use the services whatever you wanted. Okay, for that one you don't need to maintaining your own server room actually. Okay, you have to work with only on applications, and you can hire some people, you can hire some expertise, and you can start building your own applications, and we can deploy into the cloud platform remotely. So whatever the data you are using, whatever the services we are using, and that to that particular services only we can pay for it. You don't need to pay for everything. Okay, now you clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. But when it comes to the hybrid, so some of the companies, they have their own server room, as well as some of the services they might not have it, so that they can use some third party services. Okay, that kind of model deployment we are calling it a hybrid model. I hope I explained. I hope you clear this particular point. Guys, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Whatever I'm writing in my screen, you can able to look. You can able to see, right? Whatever I'm writing in my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what if you're not able to see my screen, and if you're not able to reading, and if you're not able to look anything, then you can raise your questions actually, so I can keep my your chat in some in another tab. Okay, cool. So I hope you clear this slide, and if you clear this slide, then I can go for the next slide.
Yes, sir, you can go on.
Okay, That's nice. Thank you. Let's go with the next point. So here we have the three type of here we have a three type of here we have a three type of clouds are there: hybrid cloud and public cloud and private cloud. So private cloud, in the sense, it could something like an on premises. Okay, it could something like on premises, like offer the select users over the internet or private internal network, provides the greater security controls, and requires the traditional data centers staffing and maintains. Like previously you have on premises, right? That on premises, you can say it's a private cloud. Okay. And public cloud, in the sense, it's something like third party service providers like AWS and Azure. Those people are providing the quick access, and you don't need to maintain your own infrastructure. Okay. Hybrid cloud, in the sense, it could have the both private and public. Okay. So it's a continuation of this slide, continuation of our previous slide. Okay. So on premises is nothing but it's a private cloud, and a cloud you can consider the public cloud, and hybrid cloud, in the sense, it's hybrid model. Okay. I hope we clear this particular slide as well. Nothing too much, nothing difference between this slide and this slide. Okay. Okay. Now, what exactly the cloud computing? So you need to go for understand this point actually. So cloud computing, in the sense, it's just a technology actually. This is just idea. Okay. The idea what it is. It's just an idea. The idea is that, so for example, if you have your own company, you don't need to maintaining the servers. You don't need to maintaining your own networking servers. You don't need to maintain your virtual machines. Okay. So simply, you have to concentrate. You are going to be avoiding the work like procurement of maintenance and the capacity of the planning. And so, for example, before cloud, if you are on premises, and you are installing the secure server room with a 500 500 TB or something else. Okay. And you started building of web applications. You are developed the, for example, 1 lakh of web applications. You developed the 1 lakh of web applications. This 1 lakh of web applications you have to deploying into this 500 TB of servers only, right? For example, after 1 lakh, and so you got one more 5,000 web applications requirement, and you have to go for build the 5,000 web applications in a year. Okay. But unfortunately, your server, it could fill with your entire data with 1 lakh of web applications. By the time you have to go for you have to go for update your room with different you have to go for add some physical hardware again. Maybe the room size, it could increase, and it could be costly, and maybe you're not using again 500 dB, and maybe now some days or some years, maybe your company, it was in loss, and you're not able to maintain it. So it's very tough actually. So that thing we are overcoming with help of the cloud computing. So we are going to be avoiding the procurement of various hardware and software things, and security things, and you just need to go for concentrate on your own application. That we are calling it, say, cloud computing. So whatever the services we are going to be using, and you can pay for that particular amount, whatever the service and how much it could charge, and that particular amount only we are going to be pay for it. Clear? And that exactly the cloud computing, guys. And coming to that, coming to next point. So here, so the cloud services, it could have the three type of services. The cloud, whatever the third party services we have it, right? The cloud, it could providing the three type of cloud computing services. One is infrastructure as a service, and the platform as a service, and the software as a service. Okay. See, infrastructure as a service, right? First thing is that you need to go for understanding before we understood that infrastructure as a service, or everything. So first we need to know that what things could be there in a service actually. For example, if you want to deploy the one particular application. Hello, please mute your systems. Okay. So So there we have a 3 type of cloud services are there: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So if you want to understand this platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, so you need to go for understanding one more time on premises. Okay. So here you can see this on premises slide here. Okay. For example, I want to build the application. Okay. If you want to build this application, and you have to manage your networking, and you have to manage your own storage, and you have to manage your own servers, and we have to manage your virtualization. Okay. This thing we are calling it the infrastructure. Virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. This is the 4 things we are calling it say infrastructure. Okay. This infrastructure you have to manage. Here you means your company. Okay. And you have to go for installing the operating system on your virtual machine, and the middleware we have to manage it, and we have to use your own runtime environment. You have to create your own runtime environment, and the data also you have to manage it, and the application also could be managed by yourself. That means in case of on premises, whatever the thing you are mentioning here, everything could be managed by yourself, and you have to manage yourself. Okay. But coming to the infrastructure as a service, your virtualization, servers, storage, and networking, it could be managed by the cloud providers, vendors like AWS. For example, if you're using the AWS company could be managed your virtual machines, servers, storage, and networking. And so your work is that. So for example, if you're taken the some number of servers in your own company, for your own company from the AWS servers, then on the servers, you are responsible for installing your own operating system, and you are the responsible for middlewares, runtime, and data and applications. Okay. See, only infrastructure could be managed by the service providers. Rest of the things could be managed by yourself. That kind of service we are calling it say infrastructure as a service. Clear? That kind of service we are calling it say infrastructure as a service. See, basically the cloud which is providing the IaaS service and the platform as a service and SaaS service. It's whatever you need it, that specific service we can use from the cloud. Even AWS is also providing the IaaS. AWS is providing PaaS. AWS is providing SaaS services also. But whatever the services you wanted, that specific platform, we can use it. Okay. That particular service, we can use it. For example, and you just need to maintain your own operating system. Maybe whatever the application you're working on it, that application, it could be work with your own operating system. Okay. It could work with only that specific operating system, whatever it is, like, the operating system, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, everything could be managed by yourself. Only this infrastructure part could be managed by vendors. Okay. For example, is the servers are down, you don't worry. The AWS is taking care about it. Some situations, your applications, maybe traffic is very high, maybe the servers can be down, right? Okay. That situation, the AWS could be taking care about. Even some situation, if servers are down, it can be managed it. Don't worry about it. Okay. But in case of on premises, if servers are down, you have to manage it, and you have to manually, use some other servers actually. So what if you have to increase the server count the time? Otherwise, maybe your traffic, because of traffic, your application could be slowed down. Okay. Next one is platform as a service. When it comes to the platform as a service, it could managed by the runtime, operating system, virtualization, this everything. So you should go and implemented your own application and data. Okay. Even for example, if you want to installing the DB server, database server, whatever the database servers they are providing you, that specific database servers only we could use it. Okay. We can't use your own database servers, because you choose the platform as a service. So whatever the platform which is given by that service provider, that specific software only, that specific database server only we could use it. We can't use your own database server. But in case of infrastructure as a service, if you want to use your own database server, you simply install the database server on operating system on your server, then we can use your own database server. But that kind of,
AWS
please mute your systems. That kind of flexibility, that kind of feasibility, which is not there in a platform as a service, you are responsible for implementing your own application and data. Okay, clear? That we are calling it a platform as a service. And here, IaaS example is EC2, Elastic Cloud Computing, and here EBS, Beanstalk, okay, and Elastic Beanstalk, and IaaS. For example, mail, Gmail, right? So do you want to create your own application for that one? You need any data for that one? No, right? Simply you can go and use the Gmail account, right? We can go and use the Office 360, right? That kind of services we are calling it, say, software as a service. Okay. When it comes to the software as a service, the software, application, data, and everything given by, managed by the vendor. Okay, for example, some situation, if your Gmail is not working, then what's the problem with you, right? That is not your problem actually. So the cloud service provider could be managed by that particular application, So even if your application is not working, is there any issue with the data? Then don't worry about it. Okay, so they can manage it. Any questions regarding about the slide? Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, right, Amir. Preventive, simply you can go and deploy your data. That's it. Okay, the data and applications, where it is storing, and you don't worry about it. That it could be taken care by the the service provider. Okay.
What is the necessity of platform as service? It can be either.
For example, you have the five employees. You're the startup, very beginner. Okay, and you are expert in one particular. For example, you are expert in web application building. Okay, so you don't know how to manage your database servers, and you don't know how to manage the operating system. This administration work. You don't have admin in your company. Okay, right. So you have only developers in your company. You don't have admins in your company by the time. So you don't worry about it. When if you took the PaaS platform as a service, then with 5 employees, we can start building your own application. We can deploy, and everyone could able to use it. So your application, which it could be in the live without any experience in the database servers, we can manage everything. Okay.
Okay.
Clear. But when it comes to here, and developers are there, and the database developers could be required, and the web developers required, and various backend developers is required, right? So all together has to be developed this application, and they're using the infrastructure. They are just using only infrastructure. They're not using operating system. They're not using database servers. They're not using anything. Okay. They are created their own database servers. They are going to be create their own operating system, and everything they are going to be creating themselves. Okay, on their in a service provided infrastructure. Okay, but platform as a service, the operating system, database servers, everything could be managed by the vendor, and just we go and simply build your own application. Okay.
Okay.
And but coming to the software as a service, even you don't need to build your own application. Example, Amir is the one of our student. To give an example is YouTube. Okay, so for YouTube, you don't need to be create your own YouTube channel. I mean, you don't need to go for creating application, separate YouTube application. Simply you can create your own account on YouTube, and we can deploy. You can upload your videos, and everyone could able to access, right? So do you maintaining the data? Do you maintaining the application over there? Just you are using it, right? Right or not? That example is YouTube is one of example is software as a service. Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
No, sir, it's
Waiting.
okay.
Yep. Fine. So now here overview of AWS. So here, so far we are discussing about IaaS, PaaS, SAS, right? This all services could be given by one service provider, and there we have various service providers are there: AWS, Azure, GCP, and Oracle, IBM, like plenty of database cloud computing service providers are there. Out of that one, AWS market is very high, and which is approximately 40% of share, which is occupied in the cloud. Okay. Rest of all cloud service providers are 60%, but only AWS, which the percentage of the share in the cloud computing is a 40%. Clear? So if you have knowledge and if you have an experience in AWS, then it could be easy for you. And this AWS is one company, and they can providing some I'm just sharing you share. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, you guys are able to see my screen, right? Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Now here AWS is one of the cloud service provider. Okay. Simply what we can do, aws.amazon.com. Okay. So if you click on this one, Amazon Web Services. So aws.amazon.com. So here, this is the web application, and this is the one website of the AWS. And here we have to go for if you want to use the services provided by the AWS, if you want to know and if you want to use this thing, okay, then we have to go for creating the account. So here we have the my account and or sign in. Click on the sign in, and if you don't have an account, so create new AWS account and give your email address and account name and verify your email. Then we can give your credit card details, and it could debit the $1 or one rupee. And after 1 hour, again, your $1 or 1 rupee could be credited to your account. So which means that it is verifying your account details as well. Okay. So if everything is done, then it could give you 1 year of a free trial account. It could be 1 year actually. So that 1 year we can use that in awsamazon.com and without paying any amount. And we can you can explore your knowledge, on AWS service directly on AWS Amazon Web Servers. Okay. Amazon Web Services. Clear, right? So once if you are create your own account, then we can log into that account. Actually, I'm just showing you how I could log in. Okay. So I have my account, and here we have two options: root user and IAM user. So far I am the root user. So I can explain you in upcoming sessions what is IAM user. In upcoming session, I can explain you. In a further session, I can explain you regarding about IAM and IAM policies and everything. So far, I am the root user. That means I am the owner for this particular AWS account, so that I can say I'm a root user. So here we can give your details, and you can give your email address and password. Then you can click on the sign in. Then you are logging into your AWS console. This thing we are calling it, say, AWS console. This way we can interact with AWS. Okay. This way you can interact with AWS. This is the one approach. We have two more approaches are there. That approaches I can explain you in upcoming sessions. Okay. So you can create your own account, and once if you're created, you can logging into that specific account. So here it will show you your name and your account ID and your organization and service quota and the billing dashboard and security. For example, so far if you have some amount, it might be right. So if you're billed, then the billing amount also could be showing over here. Now, so far, and current MTP balance is 0.36, and highest cost, maybe key management services. See, here I have $1. So it's below $1. Key management service. Maybe I used this service and I'm not, maybe I forgot so that it was built for me. Okay. So if you want to be, if you want to, overcome, and if you want to avoid this kind of thing, then we have to manage, and we have to go on what are the things you are used. Once your work is done, then what we can do, we simply go and clear all the services. Okay. Okay. Total number of active services are 10, and total number of AWS account is 1, and total number of AWS regions are 17 in my account, because if it's a free. Okay. So here, how many, I can explain you by tomorrow what is global and what is global infrastructure. And here you can see this US East and Virginia, Ohio, and California, and Oregon, and Mumbai, Osaka, and Seoul, right? Singapore, and Sydney, and Tokyo, right? So you can see some kind of US East 1, US East 2, like it's a global infrastructure. I can explain you what exactly the AWS global infrastructure by tomorrow's session. See, guys, for overcome of, to avoid of this kind of additional payments, then you can go and see every time billing dashboard, and you can see and what are the bills and what is the payments, and so that you can overcome this issue actually. Otherwise, it can be it can very sometimes it could high, sometimes it can bill very high if you forget to see that, if you create a service and you're using but you're not stopping that service usage, then backend it is running actually. So because of that one, it can lead to go as like some amount actually. Okay. It may put some kind of bill, so that we can go and see that in a billing dashboard, and so you can see that bill and where why you got this bill, and so you just go and remove that service, then you may avoid this billing as well. Okay, clear, right? Yep. So this here, what are the services are there? Here we can click on the services and all the services, and go and view all services. And here it can be provided by services by category, like computing, and under the containers is one service, storage is one service, and database is one service, and migration and transfer is one service, networking, content delivery, like we have various services are there. Okay, approximately 200 plus services are there, which is provided by the AWS. And out of the 200 services, we are not using all, we are using only what exactly we required, what exactly the services are required in real time in IT industry. Okay, and so those services only we are going to be learning. Clear? I hope you clear this particular session, and if you have any questions, I can answer your questions actually. Any questions? If you don't have a question, then I can wrap up the session.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And let's meet by tomorrow for understanding of global infrastructure of the AWS and interaction with AWS. Those concepts we will learn by tomorrow session. Thank you. Bye. Take care.